Still coming at you guys from Vegas as we talk about the Cubs, and I want to tell you that that final roster spot is going to come down to a very tough decision for the Cubs. We're going to get into that, at least what we expect to be that 26 guy. They've made a bunch of moves. We got into that pitching yesterday, but one of those guys that they sent down to the minor leagues, to me, I think you should keep an eye on him. The Cubs are setting up their starter for Wrigley's opener. And 9 international Cubbies graduated from the English program, which is something we got to give them a lot of respect for, because coming over here and playing baseball and learning how to communicate, it's tough, but those guys, good for them. All right, we're going to do all that on the show right now. Like, subscribe, thumbs up, brought to you by DraftKings today, ladies and gentlemen. And let's get this party started. What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillespie. Welcome to the Cubs Baseball Channel, and it is great to see you guys today as we talk about the Cubs. We're going to get opening day at Wrigley Field, and that's coming up, and I want to get into some of that here in a second. But let me start with the 26-man roster and why this battle right here is so significant. Cubs got to get it down to 26. They didn't have to worry about that going to Japan. They got the 31. Workman made the team. It's between him and Bruján for the final roster spot. Bruján traded by the Marlins to the Cubs for Mash Mervis. Remember that? And Workman's a Rule 5 player that is a third baseman, shortstop, can play around the diamond, and has honestly had a tremendous spring training. He's gone deep. He's played, pretty comfortably out in the field. He looks good, looks the part. And they feel like, a lot of people feel like there's a big future for him. And then Bruján, he's like kind of like your ultimate utility guy, because you can even put him in center field and he can play. So the bottom line is that you got to get down to 26 guys. Are you sending Workman back to the Tigers, or are you going to get rid of Bruján, who you traded Matt Mervis for? And but here's the thing. With John Birdie, you already have another utility guy. So how many utility guys do you need? So it's, I feel like Workman has a chance to make the team just because the Cubs don't have any depth at third base. They need Matt Shaw to play there, but what if he doesn't? Bruján, you know what he is. He's the guy's not going to hit, but he's going to play the field. You're not sure what Workman's going to be, but I feel like Workman's a better option he can be a utility guy too. And I think we've talked about this before, that if you can get something in the outfield, like the center field spot from Seiya Suzuki, where that if you had to put him in there, you could do it. If you needed to, someone in there for Pete, then, that kind of changes the roster construction. But the thing that Bruján gives you is that he can go out there and play that, so what's going to happen? And we're kind of at the end of the bench, when you talk about this position. The Cubs may say, hey, we're not going to get Workman enough at bats. And, we would have probably sent him to the minors, but since we can't do that, we'll send him back. Just depends how much they like him and how much they trust some of the other spots. I think he's played well enough to be on the team. He's been pretty impressive. And then, Bruján has played hard. You got to appreciate a guy that goes out there and gets his uniform dirty. So I think both guys have had pretty good springs. But I think Bruján's the safe bet and Workman has the higher upside. And we'll see. And maybe by the time you watch this, they'll already have figured it out. But I feel like this is one where you're like, you wrestle with this one. And then see what happens. I mentioned to you guys that we are brought to you by DraftKings again, and you need to check it out. Use our promo code. We got one of those, which is CBC, and that stands for Cubs Baseball Channel. But I mean, opening day is here, so one of the best parts about opening day is who's going to pitch on opening day, and that's a big question. But first, let me tell you a little bit more about DraftKings. I might still be wearing my winter layers, but the start of baseball season means spring is upon us. I've teamed up with DraftKings to bring the excitement to my fellow fans of one of America's most beloved games. Right now, they are offering all new customers $200 in bonus bets instantly after betting just $5. Download the DraftKings app now and sign up using our code CBC. Cubs Baseball Channel, CBC. The crown is yours. Stay in on all the action and use your $200 in bonus bets on DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at even bigger payouts. Combine multiple bets together from the same game. Love the thrill of live betting? DraftKings has got you covered. Bet live on in-progress games right as they happen, making watching the game that much more exciting. If sports betting is not yet available in your state, don't worry. You can still join in on all the fun with DraftKings Pick 6 and have a shot to win cash prizes. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use our promo code CBC and bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code CBC only at DraftKings Sportsbook. And again, guys, it's CBC Cubs Baseball Channel. All right, let's talk about the rotation and how it sits. We got into this yesterday kind of knowing that Shōta was going to be the guy that pitches third, right? So the rotation is setting up like this. Justin Steele, the reopening day, the restart of the season. So we got Steele, who's going to go the first game against the Diamondbacks. Second game will be Jameson Taillon. So then who's third? Well, it's going to be Shōta Imanaga. And then we'll see kind of how they announce the rest of it. And we'll get into the fifth starter spot again here in a second. But this one sets Shōta up to be the Wrigley Field opener against the Padres. So that this is a good one right here. I mean, I think it's such a privilege and an honor to be the opening day starter at Wrigley Field. Really cool. I don't really know why it matters so much because every game means the same, but it does matter more. And being that person is what he earned last year. Steele earned it the year before. Imanaga was the Cubs, maybe their best player. He's the only all-star they had. And so he gets the extra rest, and then that lines him up to start at Wrigley Field when the Cubs take on the Padres, part of this really tough schedule. Cubs end up 50-50, through this first month of the schedule. They're going to be all right. They're going to be, a good team. If they end up better than that, hey, they're ready to do something. And if they end up behind that, you just hope it's not so bad that they fall out of it. But they have a very tough schedule to start the season. And the Padres are going to be tough when they come to Wrigley. But they'll face Shōta Imanaga, who didn't give up a run in Japan, by the way. Then we're talking that fifth starter spot. And I wanted to bring up a guy who got sent down, option to the minor leagues, and that's Jordan Wicks. I think Jordan Wicks pitched well enough to have the number 5 spot. And honestly, if it was me, I probably would have him in that spot. To me, he's been better than Ben Brown. Colin Ray got rocked yesterday. I mean, what he brings to the table, consistency. Javier Assad might be the guy when he's back and healthy. But Jordan Wicks going to Iowa and to start the season, I don't think isn't a terrible thing, because I have this feeling that when it's all said and done, he's going to be solidly in the Cubs rotation. And I think if he has a year where he stays healthy, he could be a real force. I like watching him pitch, and he just seems like he's locked in just from what we've saw this spring. Finally, I wanted to talk about these guys. 9 international Cubs graduating from the English program. And I think that's cool. Cubs.com, or no, it was Cubs social media put it out. And I just think that's what it's all about. You know, when you get the opportunity to come to the United States and you know, it was on, there's the picture right there, and play, you know, there's instructions don't come, you know, you just got to learn how to kind of handle yourself. And I've been around a lot of these guys over the years as they try to figure out the English language and, you know, trying to fit in the United States. And they take so much pride. I guess Adbert Alzolay to me was the one that really was so impressive. I mean, he wouldn't let you talk to him in Spanish. He wanted to talk in English because he wanted to learn the language for when he was in the big leagues. But these guys coming from a lot of countries right now that are in the Caribbean, and the great guys, and they bring such a great enthusiasm to the clubhouse every day. But it's just so cool when they accomplish what they want to accomplish, not just on the baseball field, but also, you know, just being able to communicate. So anyway, congratulations to those guys. We're going to keep on following this thing. Obviously, like and subscribe to Cubs baseball channel, waiting on something to happen here. Comments. I got some comments about my video yesterday where I talked about the Cam Smith trade. Let me just be clear that I'm not pulling for Kyle Tucker to have a bad year. And I don't want this to be the next Lou Brock trade. Now, I don't think it will be the Lou Brock trade, but when the Athletics beat writers are talking about the guy hitting 60 home runs, he was like a throw-in in a trade, maybe, you know, like you gave away an all-star in him. Yeah, it's a pretty high price tag, is just what I'm telling you. So, and then when you talk about Bellinger getting sent back, and then the deal that you had to get Paredes with, it's just a lot. And then if the guy has a great year, get your checkbook out, you know. But if that happens, then that's good. If he demands the kind of money that we hope he demands, that means he's had a great season. So anyway, well, look, thanks for being here again. As always, like and subscribe. Take advantage of, like I said before, our promo code is CBC. We can't thank them enough for supporting the channel, you know, and you know, this is the second run that they've done with us, but I just think that's cool. You know, like, you know, when we started out, you know, who knew if we were going to have any sponsors? So it's pretty cool that we do. So support them and use our promo code CBC at DraftKings when you download the app, and bet the Cubs to win it all. Right. This is our year. Don't make me laugh. I hope that this is our year. Does it feel, I know, going overtime here, does it feel like a World Series team to any of you guys? It could be. And I mean, just kind of riffing here, but you're going to need Matt Shaw or even Gage Workman if he stays. One of the young guys is going to have to really pick it up. Pete Crow Armstrong's going to have to get on base, because striking out is you know, that's counterproductive for him. But when he gets on base, he causes havoc. And then everybody's got to stay healthy. And then somehow we need Steele and Imanaga to kind of get locked in like they were last year, and maybe find someone else like a Brown or a Wicks or a Horton that can jump in there and kind of be another, you know, a big spot pitcher in the rotation. So anyway, thank you guys for being here, and go Cubs.